Hello, hello, hello there, and welcome to Hampstead Heath Royal Park, London. Wonderful, sun is shining, sky blue. Oh, yeah. Thanks be to God. I mean, thank you very much for joining me, my dear brother, my dear sisters, members of the global village, community members, dear mothers. Today's video is on suffering, human suffering. That is human suffering, human pain, and it's about human love. And it's about happiness. Some people around the world think that by living in London, that will make you happy, but that is not the case. Even in London, people are still suffering. And you know the story of London anyway. And as a Sudanese person, where I came from, things have changed from a beautiful, what was a landscape that was like, even beautiful as this one, but even better in comparison to what the background you can see out there of a concrete world and full of nature, full of life, full of wildlife, living in peace and also in a peaceful coexistence. That is, it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. But the word love has changed, and changing the definition of love from what it was has brought human suffering. Let me just give you an idea of the limits of the imagination of the suffering that is. Imagine having a headache, and imagine those who have been in a war zone and have experienced the horror. I don't have to say more than that. And you can see the pain between that of a headache and the suffering which you will get, the feeling, the mental capacity from a headache, and a mental capacity you would get from having suffered a wound in a war zone. Now also you can compare it to alcoholism or drugs addict. They are also suffering. So what do we do about this human suffering, you ask? Well, we turn to God. And we ask the question, like in this Dinka song it says, we have and you can see the background there. In English it means, please be a good example to the children. Don't become a bad example to the children. To put it another way, do not become a disease to our society. Hobatayum dagwen. So yes, the question remains, and the good news is out there is that God is going to invade hell Yes, I mean to that. For what purpose is God going to invade hell? You would ask me. For the same reason, to relieve suffering in hell. That is the only thing you can ask of God. In all your prayer, you don't ask for material thing or material well. You give thanks and you ask for relief from God from human suffering. Such a wonderful walk here. I've been through this place many times. I always carry water with me anyway. Excuse me. It is some sort of freedom from mind, to free your mind, that is, of the world and the materialistic world that it has become. Free your mind from it. Free your mind from the mask that you put on your face. Like here, just take that glasses off. Don't cover your eyes unless there is a reason to cover your eyes, to protect your eye from radiation. Ultraviolet light, that is the only reason. But don't cover your eye. Don't mask things up. Let's be truthful to one another. Let's not lie to one another. And the human suffering and the love and the happiness which we all seek and the paradise well is not that concrete well out there. It is this nature, to be one with the nature and to protect the nature and biodiversity. And to be an example to children for a future generation. To live long. To be 90 years or 100 years or even 140 years to be proud of. Not to die at 13 or 14 years old of a knife wound to her stomach. That kind of stupid. Or a bullet wound. Or a lung cancer. Suffering is all about the pain. Yeah, we made it to the top. Yes. Wonderful walk. There's a bench there. I'm going to just sit there and enjoy the view. Think about the suffering. This one. There's two benches here. I'm gonna sit on this one here. Yes. Wani nating lor bapomiet. Wani nating lor bapomiet. Loran bui pa miran we. Yeah. You know, when it comes to human suffering, it is very painful to even talk about it. It was not a joke when I gave those examples of human suffering from headache, which there's a pain. Yes, there's a physical pain. There's also a mental pain, but it's not the same. Emotion and pain and suffering is something which you're going to have to meditate to block out, block the suffering and the images of suffering of this world, and you're just going to have to forgive the world anyway, because sometimes it's difficult to even understand, because when you've seen an image or read a story on a newspaper, let us all in a moment of internal, eternal, inner eternal search for peace, that is, because sometimes it can be very painful. Sometimes there's no even tears there, because tears, after a while, you run out of tears. And the scar could never heal. But peace and hope, like I was saying earlier, that even in hell, those so-called unimaginable pure evil, which are supposed to have been condemned for all eternity, even them, for the reason of suffering and relieving suffering, God will invade hell and free those souls and those spirits that have been in prison there. That's what one does sense spiritually within oneself, that is. I am against those who would become pure evil by becoming a disease to our society, like those who sell alcohol to children or tobacco to children. Those are becoming disease to our society because children are our future. Yes, suffering. Today we are just doing a reflection on love. Now a woman and a man love one another, and then they got married, and now they have two children. The love is no longer there. Not for them, not among them, and also not among their children. And their children, no one is looking after them. And the evil has taken over and is selling alcohol and drugs to children. What kind of an example world are we setting? Is this some sort of something that I missed in a class somewhere? Some sort of something which you guys taught at the university that I failed to have actually attended? This human suffering? Human suffering. And the submachine gun. And the rocket-propelled grenades. And the nuclear threats to mankind. Is this some sort of joke to you lot? What kind of images are you guys seeing here with regard to human suffering? Where is peace? Peace, yes. Where is peace? Where will you find peace in the world? Should I pick up AK-47 so I can walk about with AK-47 and say that I'm a peaceful person, I am fighting for peace in the world? Or shall I just come to the park and stay and be peaceful among just by myself? What shall I do? Tell me. You are the smartest when you went to university. What? What is the best thing? I'm a peaceful person. Yeah, I'm going to pick up AK-47 and go around shooting people, fighting for peace, or go in the park and sit about and be peaceful. What is the peaceful option here? There is no profit in glorifying oneself or personal glorification, that is. It wouldn't buy anything from me, that is. You will not be selling that kind of thing to me if you come to me selling this new world of ours as some sort of personal glorification of humanity, that is. I am out of it. I'm not going to be part of that so-called personal glorification of this world in the name of humanity, that is. Anyway, I think we've said enough. You get the joke anyway. Think about it. That is, if you manage to find this video online. But if you haven't, then you are in your own world, that is. Bye.